Welcome. In this video, we are going to explore directional derivatives. Up until now, you have likely encountered partial derivatives, which tell us how a function changes as we move strictly along the x or y axes. But in the real world, we are rarely limited to just moving east or north. We often need to know the rate of change if we move in an arbitrary direction, like northeast or south-southwest. Directional derivatives give us the power to calculate the slope of a multivariable function in any direction we choose. Let's review the limitation of standard partial derivatives. The partial derivative with respect to x only measures the rate of change if you move horizontally. The partial derivative with respect to y only measures the change if you move vertically. But looking at the diagram, what if we want to move diagonally, along the dashed line? Neither fx nor fy alone can give us this answer. We need a way to combine them. To solve this, we first need a way to mathematically describe direction. We do this using a vector, typically denoted as u. There is one absolutely critical rule here. U must be a unit vector. This means its length, or magnitude, must be exactly 1. If you use a vector with a length of 2 or 5, your calculated rate of change will be incorrectly scaled. We often write u as a vector with components and b, where a squared plus b squared equals 1. Here is the core formula for the directional derivative. Denoted as d sub u of f, it equals the dot product of two vectors, the gradient of f, and our direction vector u. This elegant formula connects the geometry of the surface, represented by the gradient, with our chosen path, represented by vector u. Let's unpack that first term. The gradient, written as del f. The gradient is simply a vector that packages our partial derivatives together. The first component is the partial with respect to x, and the second is the partial with respect to y. A key property to remember is that the gradient vector always points in the direction of steepest ascent. If you were standing on a hill, the gradient points the way directly uphill. Since the directional derivative is a dot product, we can interpret it geometrically. The formula becomes the magnitude of the gradient times the cosine of the angle theta between the gradient and our direction. Because the magnitude of our direction vector u is 1, it simplifies to just the magnitude of the gradient times cosine theta. Effectively, we are projecting the gradient vector onto our chosen direction line. This cosine relationship tells us something powerful. The rate of change is maximized when the angle is 0, meaning we move in the exact same direction as the gradient. It is 0 when the angle is 90 degrees, meaning we move perpendicular to the gradient, like walking along a flat contour line. And it is minimized, or most negative, when we move 180 degrees opposite to the gradient. Let's work through an example. Suppose we have the function f of x and y equals x squared plus y squared. We want to find the rate of change at the point 1, 1 in the direction of the vector v equals 3, 4. First, we must check our direction vector. The magnitude of 3, 4 is 5. Since 5 is not 1, this is not a unit vector. We must normalize it by dividing by 5, giving us our unit vector u equals 0.6, 0.8. Next, we find the gradient. The partial derivative with respect to x is 2x. The partial with respect to y is 2y at our point 1, 1. The gradient becomes the vector 2, 2. Finally, we take the dot product of the gradient 2, 2 with our unit vector 0.6, 0.8. This gives us 2 times 0.6 plus 2 times 0.8, resulting in a rate of change of 2.8. To summarize, the directional derivative allows us to find the slope in any direction. The golden rule is that your direction vector must be a unit vector. The calculation is simply the dot product of the gradient and that unit vector. And remember, the gradient itself points to the maximum rate of increase.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.